So before you watch this video, the only thing I want to say is when it comes to a triple B budget, it depends on how you actually want to use it. But a very wise man once said, the richest person is not the one with the most wants, it's the person with the least amount of needs. This way you can get there a lot faster. And when it comes to arriving at financial freedom, to have enough money to cover all your bills, you have 4 ways of getting there. The first way is you get there on time in an orderly fashion, or you can get there early if you're crazy like most of us on this channel and just want to basically invest a bunch of money, or you can get there late by saying, you know what, I'd rather have a little bit more fun but still get there. And then lastly, you can take so much risk that you never actually get there in the first place. And that's where most people are, and that's basically what you don't want to do. But this budget, you can use it and customize it according to how you want to use it, okay? My main thing is when it comes to personal finance, it's personal. It says it right there in the first word. So my level is usually extreme. I'm kind of extreme, kind of nerdy when it comes to money, so I take things to another level. But if you want to get there in an orderly manner, that's completely fine. It is up to you, okay? So as you watch this video, consider I don't have to do it like Tommy, or I can do it even better than Tommy, but it's all up to you. I'd rather you follow a plan where you will make it than you follow a plan that you never even get there in the first place. Now, as always, guys, like this video. On top of also subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. We have a goal to hit to 500K subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Now, the very first thing is, Tommy, what exactly is this triple B budget and what does it stand for? Well, the idea is very simple. Triple B stands for bare bone budget. And a bare bone budget is a budget where you only really cover the necessities. Usually, this budget is used for whenever you lose a job because, well, all you can cover is the necessities. And people that basically have extreme goals when it comes to financial freedom, they also use it to get there a lot faster. But what I use it for personally is to create what I called a baseline. Now, a baseline is the amount of money that you basically need to live a very good lifestyle that you enjoy, but basically help you when it comes to achieving financial freedom a lot faster. Now, the higher your baseline is, the amount of money you need, the idea is the longer it's going to take you. And some people, they have so many wants that their baseline is so extreme that they're actually never going to get there. So when it comes to a bare bone budget, what are the categories of this budget exactly, Tommy? Well, there are only 4. They're very simple, and we all share them, okay? Unless you live with your parents. But overall, the 4 are shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Every single person on this planet Earth shares all of these expenses, okay? And it's fairly simple. Now, every single person on this planet, we all share these expenses, but however though, we don't all distribute the same amount of money to each of them. Now, the recommended amounts are as follows. When it comes to shelter, you don't want to spend more than 1/3 of your net monthly income on shelter. When it comes to utilities, you're only paying for gas, water, electricity, your phone bill, your internet, and some people like to put in insurance here. So if you're gonna put that in there, you can put it in there, but you're not gonna have, for example, well, I wanna have the 8G and I wanna have the 1,000 megabyte internet. No, you have like the core things you basically need. When it comes to groceries, $200 per month to $300 per person, okay? That's it, that's it. And if you're asking me, Tommy, that's impossible, watch YouTube videos. I literally see bodybuilders that are basically on a broke man's budget, building muscle, being healthy on a ridiculous low income, okay? So it's very possible. I've done it and it works. The last thing, you have transportation. That includes car insurance, parking, and maintenance, everything that has to do with that vehicle. And the idea is usually you want to have a paid off car and just pay for the insurance, the maintenance, the gas, and the parking potentially, depending on where you actually live. And some people, it doesn't make sense for you to have a car. I never had a car until I got here because in New York, it never made sense to have a car. Now, let's talk about what this bare bone budget looks for a lot of people. And by the way, I've spoken to people in the past, and whenever I ask them, for example, hey, what's your baseline? Like, how much money can you have a good lifestyle with and basically maintain your living and all that stuff, and you want to have passive income to cover it? And they tell me some crazy numbers like, Tommy, easy, I don't need that much, just $10,000 per month. I'm like, what? And I heard, the most I've heard, honestly, is $50,000 per month. And you might say, Tommy, but everyone has different goals and so on. I get it, but that person was broke, okay? And whenever you have like these massive goals, and then we did the math, and I said, well, let's just do some quick math here. All right, because the rule is if you're gonna be investing money passively into the market, then if you need $50,000 per month, now let's just go even lower. If you need $10,000 per month, right, to live your lifestyle, times 12, that's 120,000. Now, if you're gonna take money out from your market, from your stocks to basically cover your living expenses, then you're looking at, you need to have somewhere around in there, by taking out 4%, somewhere around $3 million. And to get to $3 million, it takes a very long time. It takes a lot of money. And when we broke it down, they were like, you know what? Nah, I don't think I need that much money, because it's important to actually know what it takes before you say that's what I want. Because sometimes we're not willing to do what it takes to get to that part, okay? So realistic goals are very important. It's not to say you can't achieve it, but it's just saying if you're not willing to put in the work, what's the point of actually talking about it? You know what I mean? So for most people, what does this budget basically look like? Well, in reality, for the average person, shelter is more like 50% of their budget. So let's say you're making like $4,000 a month. Well, automatically that's half your income. So that's like $2,000 basically gone. On utilities, usually people are spending like around $400 per month, okay? So now we're at $2,400. Then on groceries, the average person is around like $412 per month. So now we're at $2,812. And then when it comes to transportation, once you take into account, for example, the car note, which right now is over $600, plus the insurance, plus the parking, plus the maintenance, you're looking at around $1,000. So once you add everything up, you're looking at around $3,812. If you subtract that from a $4,000 income, what you have left is somewhere like around $188. Now, what do you do exactly with $188? The answer is that money is gone. It's miscellaneous. Because what we don't include, for example, in the bare bone budget is when you have, for example, a subscription, or when you go out and you're like, I want this, and you buy it. Well, all those things are obviously a part of something. That's why most people that live paycheck to paycheck, or for example, they live above their means by just using their credit card, and they basically transfer that money and carry it over for the next month, the next month, the next month, okay? That's the idea. That's what the average person does. That's what you want to avoid, because if you follow that whole concept, that whole plan, usually you will not arrive. It's better to get there on time, early or late, but doing this, you will not arrive. So overall, what should you do then? What do I recommend? What would I do personally? The answer is, obviously, I would follow the recommended numbers. Shelter, 33%. Utilities, the basics. Groceries, $200, $300 per person. That's it. When it comes to your car, pay it off. Buy a cheap car. Save for a better car if you want to, but pay it off. That's the whole idea, okay? But when it comes to the bare bone budget, it does nothing to have a baseline that's very low, and with all the extra money you have left over, you don't use it for something that actually makes you money over time, okay? Because you have people that they save up money over years, they have $50,000, $60K, $100K, but they never invest the money, they never allow the money to grow, it doesn't do anything, and money by itself is just like dead weight, because you lose it to inflation and it doesn't help you whatsoever. So the idea is, along with the bare bone budget, what you want to use it for is a 4-step plan mission, okay? And let me break this down, okay? Because the baseline, what you want the baseline to become is your expenses. That's what you want it to become. So the goal is, don't spend more than 70% of your net monthly income on your baseline. That's it. Some people get it all the way down to half. I've seen that, and I'm very impressed. And depending on your income, if it's very high, you can get it down all the way to less than 10%, which is where I have it right now. And I could increase it, but what's the point? I live a lifestyle that I enjoy, and I don't want to spend more money, okay? So I'm fine. So overall, once you get it past to 70% or less of your monthly income, now here's the second part. This is going to determine how fast you get to the party, okay? Because the second thing is, I want you to take a piece of the money that you make and use that money for fun. Now, whether that's 1% or 5% or 10% is going to make a large difference to the time when you actually get to the party. So if you're willing to say, Tommy, I'm just going to take 1% and have fun with that money, which 1% of $4,000 a month, it's not really that much. I think it's like $40, right? Yeah, like $40 a month for fun. It's not that much. But if you do that, obviously, you have 29% left over to do whatever you want to with, okay, to follow one of these missions. Now, if you do 5%, you have less. If you do 10%, you only have 20% left to actually do what you want to do. But this is a lot better. No matter what, you have left between $800 to around, if I'm not mistaken here, I'm looking at my figures, my numbers right here. You have between $800 to around 1,160 bucks left. And that's a lot more than having left $188 with what the average person is basically doing. So it all depends on what you want to do. Some people prefer to say, Tommy, I'd rather do 10%. 10% of 4,000 is like $400, I think. I want to use that money to go ahead and have fun, and that way I can enjoy the journey a lot more, or 5%, whatever you want to do, okay? It's up to you. For me, I'm a little crazy. I'm a little nuts, so I'm okay with just doing 1%, okay? It's kind of how I work, or when I was actually in this process. So that's that. You have the fun stuff. Now, with the extra money, you want to do 4 things. First, you want to use that extra money and concentrate and focus on paying off your debt. All the debt except the mortgage. Now, whether you want to use the avalanche method, which basically means I'm going to pay off the debt with the highest interest rate, or whether you want to use, for example, the snowball method, which means I'm going to pay off the debt with the lowest balance, the idea is it's all up to you. It all depends on how you actually want to do it. Whichever method works for you, you use it. For me, avalanche method saves me more money, so that's why I use that method. Some people like to build consistency over time and like have like little goals, smashing them, smashing, smashing. So use, for example, the snowball method. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Now, once you're done paying off the debt, second, you want to save up 3 to 6 months worth of your baseline, because again, we know our baseline. It's usually going to be 70% of our monthly income. So whatever that number is for you, in this case, for example, if you have $4,000 and you're spending 70% of that, the idea is you have $2,800. If you want to save up 3 months times 3, that's going to be 8,400. 6 months times 2, that's going to be 16,800. Okay, that's the idea. So the goal is, once you have this money set aside in a high yield savings accounts, the goal is this money gives you room. It gives you room to breathe, because if you get fired or you want to quit your job because you're not being treated well, you can basically quit and get a new job and have 3 months to figure it out, and don't have to take the first job that comes across your table. Now, once you're done with that and you save up for this, and by the way, if you notice here, this plan sounds simple, but it can take you years to pay off your debt, a few months to almost a year to save up for emergencies, and then the last part is 2 steps right here. You save up 10 to 20% of your extra money towards your retirement investments. If you don't know how to invest, look up How to Invest TommyBryson. You'll find a video on it, and I'll help you out there. And then with the rest of the money you have left over, you want to save that money over for a down payment on a home. When it comes to buying a home, I follow the 33% rule on a 15-year mortgage, putting down at least a minimum of 10% when it comes to down payment. If you don't know how that works, look up 33% rule, TommyBryson, and I'll help you when it comes to that, when it comes to buying a home and being able to pay it off in less than 10 years. That's the idea. That's the plan. So if you use the bare bone budget as your baseline, even if you get there a little later, you're still going to get there a lot sooner than the average person. And if you're a maniac, like most of us here in the long-term channel, in reality, or the long-term team, overall in reality, you're going to get there even a lot faster. But obviously, this takes priority. I'd rather you use 5% or 10% than use, for example, 1% and then go on this crazy spending spree because you can't handle 1%, okay? Most people, 5% is going to be what you want to do, okay, when it comes to having fun. But this way, you're not tempted to use the money for things you shouldn't be using it, okay? Now, for some people, you might watch this video and say, Tommy, there's no way I can do this, because basically, if I try to basically do this, I'm going to have to lower my cost of living. I'm going to have to stop doing this and that. The answer is, yeah, that's very true. But do you want to get to the party, or do you not want to get to the party? And that's the question. It all comes down to that. Are you willing to, or are you not willing to? And either one is fine. But it's very important that you know the truth, okay? Now, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like this video. On top of that, also subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. On top of that, here's another video. Over here's my face. And as always, long-term team officially out.